What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now this is going to be your no nerf skill build with TU10 right around the corner. I know there's a lot of nerfs coming, there's a lot of buffs coming to everything in the game. However, I made this build specifically that way when the Title Update 10 releases, you can still use this build and get the exact same damage out of it. So, without further ado, this is my no nerf build. Alright, so I'll let you guys look at this just for a second. Now, at the top, I am using the Demolitionist Specialization. That is key when using this build. Reason being, you cannot use the artillery turret without having Demolitionist active. Another thing, you get explosive damage from the specialization itself. So that's two huge factors in this. This is an explosive damage and skill damage build. It revolves all around explosive damage and skill damage. So you want that demolitionist to have that extra explosive damage, and you also want the artillery turret. Now with that being said, let me just go straight to the skills and explain what I'm using and why. Alright, so here is my artillery turret. Looking right off the bat, you can see the cooldown's pretty low. It's at 11 seconds. The damage on paper, I'll be saying that a lot this video. On paper, this damage shows 3.73 million damage. For PvP, it shows about 932k damage. Now both of those are on paper. I have 3 talents, and when those talents are procced, I get 80% more damage. Not to mention 25% of that is multiplicative. It amplifies my total damage. So there's a lot of procs in here that show some insane numbers when I hit players and NPCs. Now on Friday I released an entire gameplay video of nothing but me using this build and one-hitting everybody. It wasn't just like a maybe, it was everybody. I'd throw out my seeker, get a kill, throw out my turret, shoot it once, get a kill. The only thing I would have to say is you need to practice aiming with your mortar turret, your artillery turret, because it is very easy to kill yourself. For example, right here it shows PvP damage 932,580. Well, if you look at my armor on my build, I'm only at 660k. So if I accidentally shoot a wall next to me or accidentally shoot it too close to myself, I die as well. So that's why I'm saying if you use this, make sure that you work on your aim, and once you have your aim down, you can one-hit everybody all the time. It's a lot of fun. It's really funny when you have, 2, 3, or the entire team run at you around the corner, and you have this mortar just lobbing over there and killing all of them at once. It's a great day. But getting more into this, I do have a tier 6 skill build. So with the tier 6, you can see on the right hand side, I get 90% more damage, 420% more health, 50% more mortar blast radius, and then I get 6 more mortars in my ammo. Now, another thing about using this turret is the demo specialization gives you 2 out of the 3 mods. First of which is in your firing mechanism slot. It gives you a 10% damage mod. Now, I have 2 other damage mods here just to show you the differences, and it's huge. See on the right hand side of your screen, that drops my damage by 115k, and in PvP it drops me almost 29k if I didn't use it. So using these demolitionist mods for your turret are key with this build. Now the next one is for the housing slot. This one gives you another 1 extra mortar ammo. I don't have any other real mods to put in this place, so having that extra mortar is very good. And then the last slot, I just threw in there skill haste, because what I did is anywhere I could put explosive damage and skill damage, I did. But if I couldn't use those two, I'd go to skill haste. And even with this build, I still have a lot of skill haste. That's why you get that 11-second cooldown. Now the other skill I use in this build is the explosive Seeker Mine. Now this one, the cooldown is 20.5 seconds, not the best in the world. However, if you look at the damage, 4.58 million damage, and that is on paper. Again, the PvP damage, just under 825k damage, and that's in PvP, on paper. Now, the skill tier 6 for the explosive seekers gives me 60% more damage and 30% more radius. Now, the mods I only use 2 out of the 3, because in the targeting slot, all I keep getting are the cluster mines, and I'm not using clusters, so I'm not even using it. However, for the payload slot, I am using 4.6% damage. And then for the drive slot, I'm using 4.3% damage. So that's how I'm getting my damage that high. Now, yeah, those are my 2 skills. So I think I've fully explained why I use Demolitionist, and I fully explained why I use these 2 skills. So let's get into the build itself. Starting with the weapons. Surge is my primary, and this is key to use when you want to hit those big numbers. Like I said earlier, my talents combined, I get 80% more damage. Well, this is one of those 3 talents. Surge is your named LVOAC rifle. What it comes with is the perfect talent, perfect spike. So headshots grant me 25% skill damage for 8% or for 8 seconds. Now, this one in particular, total damage 116.3k. That is with 15% rifle damage, 13% crit damage, and 9% headshot damage. I kept the headshot damage there in the bottom because I'm going for headshots with this build, so I might as well have a little bit more damage. Now for the mods that I use, they're all weapon handling specific, because I want to make sure I hit those headshots and I hit them really fast. Because the faster I hit those headshots, the faster I can put down my skills and get my one-hit kills. Now with the optic, I chose the small RDS scope. This gives me 15% stability at the cost of 5% accuracy. So what did I do? I threw accuracy on my 2 other attachments. The large suppressor, 10% accuracy, and the vertical grip, again, 10% accuracy. So what I'm actually getting out of this is 15% stability from the scope, and I'm getting 15% accuracy from these 2 attachments. Now for the magazine, I went with the sturdy extended mag. That gives me 20 plus rounds, so my magazine size bumps up to that 50 round. Now my secondary, it's really not a surprise. It's the Pestilence. Reason being is the Pestilence is still a bad mamma jamma. Even when it goes through its nerfs and buffs and whatever, it's still a bad mamma jamma. Now, if I'm using this, I'm not too worried about using my Surge for that perfect spike. For example, if I go against a team and I know that they are all wearing, reds with like Unbreakable and maybe, 7 to 800k armor, I know I'm going to one-hit them without even getting any of my talents procced. So I don't necessarily have to use the Surge, if you catch what I'm saying. Now, when I'm going against those tankier players, the 1.5 to 2 million armor with Vanguard or Unbreakable, what have you. That's when I use my surge. I hit them in the head, drop my skill, and they'll die instantly. It's beautiful. It truly is. However, with this pestilence, total damage 60.7k. That is with 14% LMG damage, 11% damage to targets out of cover, and 6% damage to armor. I myself use the pestilence just like everyone else for that talent, Plague of the Outcast. All your hits apply a debuff dealing 100% damage over 10 seconds. It does stack up to 50 times, so the more you hit them with the pestilence, the more those stacks hit. If they die from the Plague of the Outcast, then it moves to another player that is next to them, and then they start bleeding or, whatever. Pretty nice. Now for my sidearm, I use the backup boomstick. No real rhyme or reason. I just do it because the damage is nice. The total damage is at 814.2k. That's with 16% shotgun damage, 12% damage to armor, and 9% damage to targets out of cover. So this will definitely help you when you're in those sticky situations, especially, they start rushing at you really quick, whip this out, boom, boom, and they're usually down on one knee. Now looking at the build, quick overview. I am using 2 Grupo Sombra. I do that for the explosive damage. I am using 2 Hanayu Corporation. I do that for the skill damage. I run 1 China Light for explosive damage, and 1 Wyvernware for more skill damage. So as I've been explaining this, you can see that the build itself revolves completely around explosive and skill damage. Alright, with that said, let's start off with the mask. This is your Grupo Sombra mask. The brand set bonuses I get out of this, 15% crit damage and 15% explosive damage. I rolled skill tier for the core attribute, that way I can get my tier 6. It comes with health at 12,661 and skill damage at 8.3%. It does have a yellow mod slot, so I threw on there skill haste at 11.2%. Going to the backpack, this is the Force Multiplier. It is your named Hanayu Corporation backpack. Now, what makes it so nice being a named backpack is it comes with a perfect talent. This one in particular, perfect combined arms. I can shoot an enemy anywhere on their body, head, torso, doesn't matter. I can shoot them in their foot, and I get 30% skill damage for 3 seconds. There is no cooldown, and you can refresh this talent over and over and over and over and over and over. So, for example, I don't have to use that surge. Like I was saying earlier, I can use my pestilence. Every time I shoot them with the pestilence, it refreshes my perfect combined arms. So while I am getting stacks on them with my Plague of the Outcast, I also have my plus 30% skill damage. So that's how my skills are still hitting you really hard without even using Surge. Now, Hanayu Corporation, I'm using 2 of them in this build, so the brand set bonuses I get 10% skill haste and 10% skill damage. Now, with it being Hanayu, it comes with 1 skill tier. The attributes came with 9.1 skill damage and 16,850 health. Now, originally, I believe that this backpack came with like a red mod slot or blue mod slot. I'm not too sure. But what I did is I rolled on there a yellow. Reason being is that now I get skill damage, health, and skill haste. So this is where my skill haste is really getting bumped up, is my mods. This one in particular, 10.7% skill haste. Going down to the gloves. Hanayu Corporation gloves. Again, you get a skill tier out of the core attribute. I rolled max skill damage on there at 10%, and it comes with more skill haste at 9.2%. And then the other big player in this build is this chest piece. This is a China Light Industries chest piece with glass cannon. Glass cannon affects your skills. It does affect your skills. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but running glass cannon, it is really going to help you out in the long run. Now, glass cannon, the talent description says all damage you deal is amplified by 25%. That is amplified multiplicative. So you take my perfect combined arms, you take my perfect spike procs, you add that to my damage, and then you amplify that damage by 25%. This is where I'm really getting that damage buff, if you know what I mean. Now, China Light Industries, that brand set bonus, I get 15% more explosives damage. It comes with one skill tier as the core attribute. I rolled on there skill damage, maxed out at 10%. Luckily, it came with skill haste at 8.9, and then I threw on there another yellow mod, skill haste, at 11.1%. So just on this one piece alone, I have 20% skill haste. Now going to the holster, this is my Wyvernware holster. I'm only using one Wyvernware, so I get 10% skill damage. The core attribute, skill tier, I have on here skill status effects at 6.4%, and then I rolled on there 10% skill damage. And finally, the knee pads. Grupo Sombra knee pads. I rolled on there the skill tier. They usually come with a red. And it came with, luckily, 9.7 headshot damage and 9.7 skill damage. So I was able to use that reroll in my recalibration station to turn this into a skill tier. So that is how I get my 6 tier skill power. I have my explosive damage, my skill damage, and skill haste for the artillery turret and the seeker mine. Finishing off with the stat sheet. Now for weapon talents, again, I'm only utilizing the top 2. Perfect spike. Headshots give me that 25% more skill damage, and the Plague of the Outcast from the Pestilence. Now weapon stats, this is for the Surge, my primary weapon. It's at 116,298 weapon damage, 53,729 PvP weapon damage, with 10% crit chance, 63.4 crit damage, and 78.7 headshot damage. Going down to the offensive tab, nothing special here. I have 0.2% weapon damage and 30% rifle damage, giving me grand total of 30.2 damage bonus total. Now, to note, at the bottom of your offensive tab, it shows your explosive damage. I have 40% explosive damage on this build with the Grupo Sombra, the China Light, and running the Demolitionist Specialization. Now my gear talents, these are vital. I'm using Perfect Combined Arms for that 30%, and Glass Cannon for that amplified 25%. Go to the defensive tab, nothing special, 660k armor, 311k health, 50% pulse resistance with 10% hazard and 5.4% explosive resistance. Those are mainly just due to my watch level. Now for the build, I have 71.1% skill haste. For the turret, I believe, yep, 71.1%. Now the turret comes back in 11 seconds and my seeker mines come back in 20.5 seconds. Again, both of these are one hit kills. It doesn't matter who you're going against, you're going to kill whatever it is in your path. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see if there's anything else I can show you. Nope, that's about it. Alright, so here you go again. I'll show you the build one last time. This is my no nerf skill build. It is completely focused on explosive damage, skill damage, running that glass cannon for the amplified damage, perfect combined arms because there's no cooldown. You can use any weapon and get it to proc constantly, and also using the surge as a primary and pestilence as my secondary. The artillery turret is a must because it will do some serious damage in a small amount of time. If you do it quick enough, you could fire 2-3 mortars and just knock out the whole team in a matter of seconds. The explosive seeker mine is a one-hit kill no matter what. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, you guys. I will go ahead and leave you guys with a little bit more gameplay, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. I did just start a Twitter account last night, so if you guys are on Twitter, hit me up at Kamikazevondoom. Also, I do have a Discord community server, so raid carries, LFG for any platform. If you are looking for a clan or you have a clan that needs more people, you can come and promote that. If you are a content creator, you can come promote your videos, try to get more subs, try to reach out to the community, and get your name out there. Same goes with my Twitter. Hit me up on my Twitter. I can help try to promote you, give you tips, tricks, whatever I can. My motto is always to build the community, so yeah, do what I can when I can. But alright, you guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and I will leave you guys with some gameplay. I am Kamikazevondoom. Yeah, see ya.
An agent needs assistance. An agent needs assistance. Agent down.
I sent a Specialization supply drop your way.
Rogue explosive seeker mine detected.
A friendly is claiming the supply drop. The Specialization supply drop was just picked up by a friendly.